watch out for the big girls. Hey, watch out for the big girls. Hey, IGTV, this is your girl Sasha Adams, owner and operator of Brows and Brides by Pink, a full-service waxing studio along with bridal hair and makeup, and the House of Pink, my intimate skincare line. So I decided to come on here really quickly because in some of the Facebook groups that I'm in where I have colleagues who wax as well, there's always at least one question in regards to waxing plus size women. Now, waxing a plus size woman, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. So I put together a few tips because I do have a number of plus size clients. So I decided to put together a few tips to help you, my fellow waxers, in dealing with a plus size client, and also for some plus size future clients, so that they know kind of how to react when asked by their waxer to do certain things. Now, 100% of my clients have no issues with doing some of the things that I ask them to do in regards to making sure that they can get the cleanest and the best wax service possible. So the first thing that I ask is for them to hold certain body parts. So, plus size women may have a larger stomach or larger thighs. So when waxing, you can ask them if they could please hold their stomach up, because that will give you a wider range of motion as far as coverage for the upper part of the vulva to get all of that hair off. And then sometimes there may be hair hiding underneath that flat of skin. So you want them to hold that up for you while you're waxing so that they can get a clean experience. And that's what you tell them. I'm going to need you to hold this for me because I want to make sure that I can get every single hair. They'll be more than happy to do so. I'm looking down at my notes here. They know they're plus size, and it's not embarrassing for them, and it will help you as a waxer in a million ways to be able to get a cleaner result for it. Tip number 2, you may need to change your waxing pattern. Now, those of us who work with hard wax and like former European Wax Center or Wax Center workers, we learned patterns. Now, when you start to work with clients, different clients, you learn that you have to change those patterns up. Now, when working with plus size women, now this is how I work. You don't have to do this, but this is how I work. I tend to work so let's actually go back. When working with smaller clients, I tend to work from the outside of the thighs in towards the labia. Now, working with a plus size woman, sometimes it can be a little difficult to get that done. So I like to work from the top of the vulva down. So I have them hold up their stomach first, and I'll get rid of all of the hair that's at the top of that area. And then once they release that, I have them hold up the actual vulva, because some of them will have a much larger waxing area. So I'll ask them if they can pull that up as well. And then I can go ahead and hit the labia, strips down, and clean up anything that's in those corners. That little tuft of hair that's at the top of the labia we can get rid of, and then they can release. Then I will ask them to hold one part of their thigh, and I'll get that hair that's in the bikini line on both sides. And then, of course, once that's all clean, I go ahead and I look back to make sure that there's no hairs that I need to tweeze out and remove to make sure that that front area is clean. And then they are to lift the knees straight to the chest. For some of my plus size girls, I like to have them open their knees just a little bit, because then that also helps me to not just get the anus area, but then I can also get any little pieces of hair that may have been hiding underneath the vagina. So that also really tends to help a lot. So instead of lifting with their knees together and bringing it to their chest, I ask them to hold their legs open just a bit. Doesn't have to be porn size, just a bit, so that I can get not only the anus area, but the hidden parts that may be underneath the vagina. So yes, you may need to change up your patterns. The third tip I have is to offer them a vaginal experience. Now, I'm a bigger girl, and I know that I have larger thighs that tend to rub together. Plus size women tend to have parts that will rub, and friction is one of the main causes of ingrown hairs. So I like to offer my bigger girls a vaginal experience, which can be done either as just an ingrown hair treatment mask directly after the waxing experience, or the full vaginal, which is usually offered 7 to 10 days later on after the waxing experience, which would include exfoliation, etc., etc. Those things will also help to bring your client back, because a lot of times they do or will suffer from ingrown hairs, and once you can get those removed and get the redness and the irritation to go down, you will have a very happy client. And of course, the very last tip I have for plus size waxing is treat your client with respect. Treat them like every client that walks in your door. You do not look at them any differently. You don't talk to them any differently. You just add on a couple of extra steps, and they will feel very comfortable with you, because sometimes they get treated disrespectfully for being a larger girl. Larger girls don't always have the confidence that some skinny girls may have. So treat them with respect. They're just like any other client seeking your services. And also, a sidebar. I came across a question once where a colleague asked if they should charge extra to wax a plus size person. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You charge a plus size woman the same amount that you would charge any other client. There is no need for you to charge them anything differently. You treat them with the same respect you treat any other client. So I hope these tips were helpful, and I hope that when you receive plus size clients, you treat them with respect and you treat them as any other client that walks in your door. This has been another little episode of IGTV with Brows and Brides by Pink and the House of Pink. I'll see you guys on the wax bed. Stay smooth.